Advices Radio Network.
Drugs and Stuff is for informational, educational purposes only, and this program is brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. You can use our code ADVICES at checkout. Welcome back to Drugs and Stuff with Dave Crosland. This show is brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. You guys can use our code ADVICES at checkout for additional savings on awesome supplements that you probably would have bought anyways. Dave, we've got a special guest, man. I'm pumped for this. How about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking to him.
This is one of your guys over there in the UK. We've got IFBB Pro Luke Sandoe. Luke, what's up, man?
Hey, man. I mean, Dave, you're lying, aren't you? You're not that excited about this, I can tell. Thanks very much for having me on.
Professionalism.
Yeah. Just don't use that bullshit with me, mate. I know what you're really thinking. You're like, fuck this guy.
I hurt you in that gym after you finish this comp, so don't be getting too clever.
So, how far are we? We're like 2 weeks out from the Arnold Classic right now, aren't we?
Yeah, I think it's actually 2.5 weeks today. So it's coming around really, really quickly.
Dude, I'm pumped, man. I got a chance to see you make your pro debut, which of all places was the Arnold Classic. That was a crazy show to start out competing at that level, man.
I mean, I'm still undecided whether I regret doing that or not, because I mean, I look like battered dog shit.
No, well, listen, dude, you were competing a long time.
Yeah, but not. I mean, it kind of helped propel me into the limelight a little bit. So it had its pluses and minuses. So yeah, it was good.
Well, your battered dog shit is a lot better than my best, so we'll just leave that one there.
Well, and not to mention, man, it was a debut, but at the same time, a lot of times what we end up saying is like, oh, well, it was a good start, but he's going to need to put on a lot more size. Listen, size-wise, you stood up next to even the biggest guys on that stage. So it was just a matter of, and doing everything you've been doing since. I'm excited, man. How's everything going this time around?
Yeah, I actually feel pretty good. I have my days when I'm a bit quiet because obviously you get very tired. But this whole prep for the most part's been borderline too easy. Which I'm grateful for, and if I didn't look good, I'd be very worried.
Yeah,
but I think it's one of those preps where everything's just kind of clicked and fallen into place exceptionally well. So I mean, I have zero complaints. My body feels fresh as a daisy. Everything's just firing on all cylinders, which is a first because normally
you look very good.
Yeah, I feel very good as well. I think that's kind of reflective in how I look. And it's been easy. So it's been fun. That's the main thing. Is I've enjoyed every part of this prep. Every day has been great fun.
Fuck
and
yeah.
I have like I don't take it for granted anymore because I fucking hate when bodybuilders moan and complain because I think they all do. And I get to wake up in the morning and be like, this is my job. This is what I do now. And it's and I've learned to enjoy it more and not take it for granted. And it seems to be the more work I put in, the more I'm getting out of it. So the whole thing's like a motivational kind of circle, if you will. Like the more I work, the more I get out of it. The more I get out of it, the harder I work. So it's and the whole thing is I'm actually kind of trying to live in the moment a little bit.
I love that.
And enjoy it. And I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying bodybuilding again. And it's I think that's reflective in how I'm looking and how I'm feeling and my mindset. Like everything's just been great. So if it can be like this for the next 15 years, I'm pretty happy. So yeah.
What do you put that down to, Luke? Is there a specific different approach this time, or is it just one of those things?
I think there's a couple of things. So one main thing is my personal life is in a much better position now. My girlfriend's moved in with me. She's making things a little bit easier. So there's less stress. After what happened in California last year, I hate talking about this still because I'm done with that. It's in the past. But essentially, nearly dying, that puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
And I got, and after that show, it was a bit of a rough few months. And then at the time I was with another supplement company and I got kind of let go quite abruptly, which was no fault of my own or theirs. It was just a thing. It was just like, we can't keep you on. Sorry. Yeah. I was like, fuck. So I got picked up by Redcon One, and Aaron's been wanting me on the team for a long time. And that was kind of a turning point for me because I thought, well, I've survived, firstly. And now I've just been picked up by arguably one of the biggest companies and fastest growing companies in the world. And I now have this opportunity to do this and do it well. And I don't want to waste any second of this not fulfilling what I should be doing. Yeah. So yeah, just less stress, being in a better place in terms of like sponsors and, you know, just everything that's kind of just my whole mindset's different. I mean, I can't honestly put my finger on it because in the past I've always been, yeah, I'm working 100%, everything's great. But then you don't really realize how much better things can be until they are better. And that's kind of what's happened to me. So everything's been really good, and I just think it's just something in my mind has clicked. It's like there's a difference between being an IFBB pro and a professional bodybuilder. And I am trying to be a professional bodybuilder. And that is a big difference. And that means doing all the work outside of the gym in terms of all the social media, the content. It means conducting myself as a professional on and off the stage in every aspect. And when it comes to any job that if you want to do your job to the best of your ability, you are going to be able to do it much better if you take a lot of pride in your work. And that's something that I've learned to do is I'm very proud of what I'm doing and the way it's coming together. And it's very motivating because in the past, I've always worked hard for very little reward. And it seems to be, the tides have turned a little bit and the whole future of what I'm trying to accomplish is becoming a little bit closer and it's falling into place. And I'm just trying to make the most of every day.
I love that, man. I feel like, it's easy for us to sit back and complain about what's wrong with bodybuilding and, talk about the various issues that we see through social media and through people's attitudes and stuff. But listen, though, I feel like, myself in my position, one thing I can do is try to be the best, most positive person I can be to add to bodybuilding in a positive way. We need guys like you who are doing this to carry on bodybuilding as the thing that we love,
Yeah, and I mean, I think. Okay, go on, Dave. Sorry.
No, it's all right, Luke. Go on.
Well, I was going to say as well, like one thing that the last 4 or 5 years has been annoying me is the way that bodybuilding has kind of lost its way a little bit because everyone's fucking burying their head in a textbook or a logbook rather than actually training hard and just eating food. Like it's all become. It's become a whole fucking equation. And all of a sudden, the last year, people are sickened to death of all that bullshit. They just want bodybuilding to be bodybuilding again. And I think we're on the cusp of a resurgence of real bodybuilding where it's, I wouldn't say it's going back to basics, but everyone's starting to think, well, you know what? We've all been doing this science shit for the last 3 years or 4 years and overthinking everything. Yeah. And all of us have gained no fucking muscle. So obviously, what are the guys who have been who came before? What did they do? And I think there's this like calling for just real bodybuilding again, and it's because everyone's getting pissed off of all this. Like, it's this snowflake generation where everyone gets offended and everyone's trying to find the easiest way to do the hardest things. And it's just, and in bodybuilding, that's just not the case. And I think...
Do you think as well, there's an element that when you get to a certain standard, you start to think it has to be more technical?
If you'd asked me that 2 years ago, I would have said yes. But the more I've been engrossed in this, the simpler I've made things.
No, I'm not saying it needs to be. I'm saying people think it should be.
Yeah, they do. And this is one thing I always, I actually pretty much say it every day to people. Like, I keep seeing it in all the gyms I go to. There's these people in there that literally have I'm not being rude, they just don't have any muscle.
I agree.
They have all the clothes, the shoes, the logbook, the straps, the wraps, fucking everything, except they're just training like pussies. And they are overthinking everything. I'm seeing people just sitting in a hammer strength machine sideways doing one arm presses with it, with like one plate aside with a band attached to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, okay. So if you said to that particular person or that demographic, if I said to them, pick 4 lifts, only 4, that you can do for the next 5 years, and that's to build the most amount of muscle on your body, would you pick that bullshit sitting in the side of a hammer strength machine with a band on? Would you honestly choose that, or would you choose like overhead presses, deadlifts, squats, bench press, blah blah blah? And not a single person has ever said to me, "Yeah, I would choose the banded one-armed machine press."
I think one of the problems as well, Luke, is though that we've got to a stage where a lot of people that are involved in bodybuilding would never have been involved in it 15, 20 years ago.
Yes.
It's the drug and the technology that has made them feel they can be involved, and they've lost or they just don't have that basic genetic ability,
of course,
to train hard enough.
And the other thing is as well is that bodybuilding is quite selective in terms of the genetic, the gene pool of what's available to be a good bodybuilder.
Sure.
And there's this and we live in the age it's like, if you can do anything you want. No, you fucking can't. I can't be an NBA basketball player ever.
Yeah.
No matter what, but I can be a professional bodybuilder. But for some reason, everyone seems to think they can build a world-class physique, when in actuality they probably can't. And that's not me making digs at people.
No, I know.
So they start overthinking things and then saying bullshit things like, "Well, the reason the pros look like this is because of genetics and drugs." Or
usually it's just because of drugs.
Yes, usually the drugs. You're absolutely right. People just think fucking bodybuilders are Captain America, and we just pin a load of gear and we come out of a tank looking like we do.
Yeah.
But in reality, not everyone can be 300 pounds. Not everyone can be a pro. Not everyone can look how they want to look, unfortunately. But if you are focusing on all the bullshit that you're doing, like all the writing everything down, overthinking, overanalyzing, paralysis by analysis, you are just spinning your wheels. Look, if you want to look like your favorite bodybuilders, it's probably a better idea to look at what they are doing versus what the science is telling you. Because, and that's the main problem I'm just seeing across the board is I just want people to stop using their fucking brain in the gym and start using their actual muscles. And you might start seeing some growth.
I think the problem is as well is we've never been very good at translating how intense the top guys train. Or how hard the top guys train. Because it's one of those things that unless you physically experience it, it's very, very difficult. And you'll have done this with clients, no doubt, Luke, where, I'm training hard, and then you go and train them or train with them. And what you view as the basics, they're like, Jesus Christ, this is way more intense than a normal training. You're thinking, hang on a minute, we're still warming up.
Oh, yeah. And
it's no reflection on them as people or anything else, because if you don't know, you just don't know.
I know.
And saying I train hard is such a broad spectrum statement that people can only attach that level of intensity to their own experiences. And if they haven't experienced it, they won't understand it.
Absolutely.
I just think a lot of it, I'm not making any digs at any people. I'm not trying to take the piss, as we would say. I just think for the most part, a lot of people are being led down the wrong paths in terms of, two of my good friends, one being Jordan Peters and the other being Joe Bennett, the hypertrophy coach. If you ask most bodybuilders what they preach, and somebody said with Jordan, it's all about the logwork, heavy lifts, getting strong. And with Joe, they all say, oh, it's just about perfect execution. It doesn't matter about the weight. It's all about bullshit fluff. Well, I've trained with both of these guys, and I'm telling you, their mindsets are exactly the same. Train,
no kidding.
Do the basic lifts that feel best, and execute them perfectly, and get as fucking strong as possible. So to me, if you do that, take a little bit of gear, and eat meat and rice every 2 hours, you're going to get about 95% of what you're going to get out of bodybuilding, just full stop, regardless of all the other nonsense. You don't need to do any of the other stuff to get.
You watch any of Jordan's vids. You watch any of Jordan's training vids. It doesn't matter how hard he's working. His form is impeccable.
Oh, it's incredible. And it's the same with Joe. I mean, Joe's very strong for his size as well, and he moves weight with precision. So it's just the way I see just the way I see bodybuilding, like in general going, as I just think it's going to go. I'm not going to use the word hardcore, but it's going to go back to its roots a little bit more. And I think a lot of that is to do with the way powerlifting is at the moment. Powerlifting seems to be very popular again because it's just bare bones lifting heavy, and I think that's going to be reflective in bodybuilding as well, because bodybuilding's become very social media based, very posy, whereas a lot of people want to be NBA stars, like they all want to act like 50 Cent in their nice cars with their watches and listening to hip hop, wearing their Jordan jerseys, which is fine. But that's not bodybuilding. Bodybuilding's an ugly man sport. It's brutal. It's horrible. And like, without sounding like a dick, there's just not that many men in the sport anymore. Really. I mean, they just fucking isn't. And it's like, and then, but the people that really are putting the work in and sticking to the basics and making the days count are the ones making the progress. And I always use James Hollingshead as an example. Hasn't got the best genetics, and he'll admit that, but he's got something in his head that no one else has, which is this incredible drive. Look how strong he is. That translates to an incredible amount of muscle he's put on. Yeah. And it's the same with Jordan. I've done the same. Mike Francois, fucking Johnny Jackson, Branch Warren, like Dorian. They all. There's a pattern here. They all train ridiculously heavy and hard, and they all eat a lot of food, and there's not really a lot more to it than that.
You know what else I hear in you? I hear Chris Aceto in that simplicity.
Yeah, but you know what? The other thing I always say about bodybuilding, it is very simple, and people think, well, that means it's easy. No. Running a marathon is simple. Swimming the English Channel is simple. Like doing the Tour de France is simple. It's just riding a fucking bike, right? But that doesn't mean it's easy. It means it's really, really fucking hard. And that's what bodybuilding is. It's really, really hard, but quite simple. And it's very monotonous. It's slow. It's not sexy. It's not. But the people that kind of get it in their head, and when they do understand that bodybuilding is simple and it's just monotonous and it's the same thing day in, day out, and then they start seeing the results, that is where the fun comes into it. That's where you get the joy from bodybuilding, is when you reap the rewards of your work. I always harp on about people overthinking, and I just think it's become a little bit of an epidemic, and it's robbing bodybuilding of what it really is. And that's why I think you're seeing less and less big guys. You're seeing more and more quote unquote nerds in the sport, which is fine, but they're not helping themselves, and it's because a lot of people will disregard results around them and what people have done for like 30, 40 years, just because one study has validated their point and made it think they can do it in an easier way, and it's just not the case. Sure.
I was bringing Chris up because I was trying to swing us back toward the prep and find out more about what's going on.
Oh, Chris he's so simple. Like, I can't even tell you how simple Chris is. I mean, he makes everything so easy to follow, so basic and simple. It is. It is, yeah. You're absolutely right. It is.
And the more you try and complicate it, the more factors you have to deal with, the more fucked up you get, the more complex you get, and you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
If you're eating a few food groups, training heavy and doing cardio, it's a lot simpler to manipulate if something's not working the way you want it to go.
Yeah, exactly. The less variables in the equation, the easier things are to adjust as well. And it's like, I always go back to Dante Trudel as well. Like the way one thing he said, which stuck with me right from the beginning, was if you ever find somebody that can incline press 405 for 10, squat 5 plates for 20, deadlift 6 plates for 10, they are going to be an incredibly large person. And I think that's absolutely true. And I think you're never going to see people moving that kind of weight who are going to be small. So I don't understand why a lot of this, when I hear people say metabolic training, I just want to stab myself in the eye. It's just stupid. So everyone's
a flow restriction, my friend.
No, it's not. It's getting a fucking pump. It's getting a pump. Shut the fuck up with your metabolic training and your this, that, and the other. Just sarcoplasmic this. It's like, no, mate. Just lift heavy and get a pump in the same workout. It's really not that much more difficult. And it sounds like I'm just being a meathead, But if you don't believe me, come and train with me or come and train with Dave and then tell me how metabolic your fucking pump is. Right?
There's a lot of science in the lift if you want to get the most out of it. If you want to start getting technical, get technical about the way you lift, but people don't want to do that because that's hard fucking work.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well, I mean, you listen to somebody who knows what they're talking about, like Joe Bennett, when he talks about training, he makes it really easy to understand. Whereas a lot of these other guys, like, I mean, I get guys telling me all the time that I'm lifting it wrong, and they kind of give me some kinesiology essay. And it's like, well, you have no muscle, so I don't know what you're talking about, because and I've seen the way you lift, and it's dog shit, right?
It's really simple. Muscle pulls a lever through a hinge. Maximize the length of the lead. You put the load on the end of the fucking lever and pull the bastard with the muscle.
Yeah. You know, it's yeah. I mean, I'm just looking forward to the next couple of years when I think real bodybuilding is going to come back, because I think I've talked about it too much, but I think a lot of people are getting sick to death of the overthinking, overcomplicated. I mean, I don't see this in any other sport. Do you? I don't know.
You do a little bit, but you'll always get the cycling. You'll always get the hyper technical bike with the super efficient skins, and he's still got a 43-inch waist and goes cycling on a Sunday after his 8 beers. But, you know, you're right. It is probably more. And, I mean, I don't know how much you get on social media these days, Luke. Probably not much, to be fair. But the guys that speak the biggest bullshit seem to be the guys that have the biggest interactions and the biggest followings. And you just sit there shaking your head thinking, the guy's talking absolute shit.
Yeah.
But people don't want to look at themselves and go, my physique shit, which is what they may think, but that's my fault. And that bit they can't do. They have to go, but it's because I've not eaten 2 rice grains at 4 minutes past the minute and taken this drug protocol at this exact timing. Mm-hmm. They don't want to face the fact that they look a sack of shit because they failed to put the work in.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I'm gonna jump in here and steer us back. That's what I've been trying to do. But we've got a bodybuilder who's 2.5 weeks out from an awesome show, and Dave, he's fired up, and we're keeping him fired up. He's fired up. I was bringing up Chris because I remember a while back you guys had discovered that you weren't getting into the shape you wanted to, cardioing everything off and putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And, you know, you're working with him again now. Are you guys finding those same things are true this prep?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is my fault, really, to be completely honest. I mean, Chris only knows what you tell him.
Okay.
So if I don't tell him, if I'm just a meathead and just say, yeah, I'm fine, when I'm really not fine, how is he gonna know? He's not. So, and I just found that the communication has to be very much a two-way street. It has to be. He has to know everything that I feel, everything I'm doing, and he does. And it's because he can only make changes and decisions based on what he sees and hears. So if I'm not telling him the whole story, or you know, how can he know fully what to change? Yeah. And that's something I maybe neglected in the past. Goes back to the whole stress thing.
Luke, did you ever feel any pressure to tell him what he wanted to hear in a way?
No, not really, because he doesn't really know. No, I don't like complaining, and I don't like to sound like I'm being a pussy, which is really, really silly to be honest. I mean, if you're like, so if I felt like really run down and terrible, he'd say, "How you feel?" and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm great." Where really, I was dying on the inside, but I wouldn't tell him that. So he'd carry on pushing me. Whereas this prep, I haven't really needed to say anything because I felt great. But if there is any days I feel tired, I'll tell him. And I think the communication is a huge thing, because, and I think that goes to any coach and any client. You need to, communication is a two-way street. You need to build up that trust. You know, and I mean, a lot of the things that happened and what I said after working with them last year was mostly said out of anger at myself, and I was looking for somebody to blame. But as the time kind of went on, I've kind of started to understand that it's a lot of it was my own doing, because I didn't convey a lot of what was really happening in terms of how I was feeling or responding, and and if you leave out that large piece of the puzzle, it's kind of a big gap in what he can do.
Can I ask you a question on a topic that I know you said has been done to death and you don't really want to talk about, but it's a different angle on that topic?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
After the California incident,
yep,
did you question your career in bodybuilding?
Yes, kind of. Yeah, I did actually. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And I just kind of thought maybe. No, I was like, maybe I'm just not that good. Maybe I'm just like not as good as I think I am, or maybe I just can't do this. Maybe I don't have it in my mind. Maybe my body just is good at certain things and terrible at other things. People
will look at you as a pro and think you're amazing. You've got an incredible physique. Your gym strength is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, you are what they dream to achieve. So it's quite refreshing to hear you say you have self-doubt.
Yeah.
And at times you question yourself, because for hundreds of thousands of people that train, and one of their most driving factors is the fact that they have self-doubt and they feel like they haven't achieved.
Yeah. I mean, I actually haven't spoken about this at all, which is quite interesting. But, after California and I kind of stepped back and started looking at things, I think I did fall into some pretty severe depression as well.
I can imagine it, man.
Which is quite unlike me. I was kind of questioning what I was doing and whether I could do this. And it's like, then I lost my main sponsor at the time, and everything was just going downhill. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then it kind of, I had to reevaluate things from the inside. And I was like, well, if all this is happening around me, there's only one common theme here, and that's me. Yeah. So I can't keep blaming other people. There's obviously the fact here is me, and I need to sort this out. So,
was it a gradual thing, or did you have this sort of eureka moment where you suddenly just went, "Fuck"?
It was kind of actually a eureka moment, really. I was really feeling really sorry for myself for about a month. I didn't really see anyone. I just stayed in the house, and then it kind of just things started clicking in my head. It's really hard to explain because I haven't really thought about it. It just kind of happened. Yeah. And now here I am. But it's I think for most people, if you're really not doing well at what you're doing, stop blaming other people and maybe take a step back and look at yourself. It's like, are you treating the people around you as well as you should? Are you doing everything in every aspect of your life to the best of your ability? Are you organized? Are you really doing what it takes to be what you want to be? And if you're not, then that's completely in your control. And then when I started realizing, well, all of this is actually in my control. So, I just started making small adjustments in my life. Just little things like getting more organized.
Okay.
And just little things. And then when you string about 2 or 3 weeks together, when every day is very organized, you start making really good habits. And then I noticed that my personal life started improving. And then my bodybuilding started becoming more enjoyable. My coaching business was doing better, and I was a lot more organized with my clients. And I was like, well, this is actually very easy. And if I'm in control, then I'm in the driving seat here. So, if I'm in control, that's a very, very lucky place to be. Mm-hmm. To be kind of in your control of what's going on around you. So I just decided to take control back and just start being like, if I want to do what I want to do, then I'm the one that needs to do it. And it was quite empowering in a way.
So that incident was actually very, very positive for you.
It was, because physically there was no damage was done. Everything was absolutely fine. Luckily, I had blood work done when I got home. I had scans on my kidneys and my heart and everything. There was no damage, no issues anywhere. So I was like, well, I've got away with that scot-free, luckily. So it's just sorting out my own head now, which I did. And it was really, really difficult. And depression and anxiety in bodybuilding is really rampant. A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah. We've touched on this a lot.
Yeah, and I was a massive victim of that myself. And as I said, I realized I'm in control of my own life. So I had to start making changes and improvements where I could, and then it kind of adds, you build blocks of them, and you eventually everything kind of starts falling into place. Like
you start building foundations again, don't you? So you like simple stuff, get them to be habitual and automatic, and then you can build on top of that, and then on top of that. And
it's like, I mean, I'm a naturally extremely disorganized person, and I've really had to work hard not to be. But the more organized I've become, the more efficient I am at everything. And it's just, being organized, it takes so much stress away from your life.
Give me an example. Give us an example. Like, what are one of the things you notice where you're like, shit, I'm really unorganized with this, and I need to physically, mentally put energy into it.
Well, just like procrastinating things. Like, if I had a bill to pay, I would just leave it on the side, and all of a sudden I have a big pile of bills.
Oh, yeah.
And that's stressful. But if I just do it as it comes in, great, done. It's like, if like a light came on my truck that said you need to go and take it in for an oil change, then I'll go and do it rather than put it off. If something needs doing around the house, instead of just being, oh fuck it, I'll do it next week. It's like, I'll do it now. I have time. I'll make time today, and I'll put it on my whiteboard in my kitchen, and I'll organize it into my day, and I'll fit everything else around that. And just doing that every day, you'll notice how that massive, endless pile of jobs quickly goes down to the point where you only have a handful of things to do every day, and you can keep on top of a handful of things every day. And as long as you do it, and as long as you do it every day, you can go to bed every night feeling very fulfilled. And then you wake up the next day and you've got a whole schedule lined out for what you need to do that day. And you just keep putting days together like that, and you realize how everything around you starts falling into place a little bit better in terms of bodybuilding, business, social life, family life, everything,
It's particularly useful if you have a lifestyle where you have a big influx of stuff coming in on a regular basis that you can't control.
Exactly. So it's just, I mean, a big part about bodybuilding, if you want to be good at it, you have to be organized. And if I wasn't organized, then everything else would kind of crumble. I'd focus too much on my bodybuilding and not everything else. And then one thing would suffer. Yeah. And this time I've just kind of made an effort to be focused and concentrate on everything I do. And it's helped a lot. It really has helped a lot.
I mean, it's not exclusive, but when you look at successful bodybuilders, a fair few of them are successful in business as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to branch out into do. I'm trying to do other things, and for the most part it's working out well, and it's just, like I said, it's just keeping organized, making small targets, and trying to reach those little goals as you go, and breaking everything down into kind of like little bite-sized chunks so it doesn't become overwhelming. Because if you're at the bottom of a mountain, you look up a mountain, you go, I've got to climb this fucker, this sounds horrible, versus thinking, okay, I just need to make that checkpoint before you know it, you're at the top. And it was just like, that was kind of what I had to do for my whole life, rather than getting overwhelmed by everything that was around me, just breaking it down and making sure that I pigeonholed everything, organized everything, and it's just paid dividends in terms of everything I do now. And it's, it just makes life a whole lot less stressful.
You started up your own online business, right? With Brutal Muscle?
Yeah, so I do coaching. I don't really advertise it much because I have enough people inquire that I don't need to push it too much. I mean, occasionally I'll do a story. But yeah, so Ben and I, we started brutalmuscleonline.com because we just saw this like gap where there wasn't. So we thought, why is nobody putting content out anymore? Why isn't MD putting out like all their athletes going to the Arnold? Why are they not doing videos anymore? Where's all the cool? Because I noticed one day all the YouTube videos I'm watching are all like 5, 6, 7 years old. I was like, where's all the new stuff? Nobody's making any new stuff. Where are all the forums gone? Yeah. Where's all the information? Where is it? Where's
the heart?
Yeah. So we just thought, initially I was going to do my own website as a subscription. Then Ben and I were chatting, and I was like, well, let's maybe do something that's more like a magazine, but online. And then we kind of decided another thing. We're like, well, let's do the magazine online. So we have articles, we have forums, we have all the drug talk that obviously Dave does, and we have all this other stuff. But then let's start using that subscription money to start putting towards content from other bodybuilders. Huh. So we wanted to kind of start building Netflix for bodybuilding, essentially, which is what we've been doing. And we've been reaching out to a lot of pros, and a lot of them have come back, and we've got a lot of video content coming out. Like, for example, today, Josh Lenartowicz has just turned in his leg video 4 weeks out from the Arnold Classic. And Josh even said to me, he said, no magazine has asked me to do any filming. And I was
it's
like, well,
crazy.
And so we did, and he did a video for us, and you can come and watch it exclusively on our site.
That's badass.
And all we're trying to do is have all the information and entertainment from everyone all in one place for the price of a magazine. Because magazines were amazing about 5 to 10 years ago, and they've just disappeared because no one buys any magazines. These companies don't have the money to invest in their content.
Yeah.
So, if we have, the more subscribers we get, the more money the business generates, the more money we can put back into bodybuilding. We can start paying bodybuilders for videos. We can start getting content from bigger and better pros, like bigger names, because we have the resources. And that's just like a small project, which we want to make it one of the biggest and best bodybuilding sites in the world in the next few years. And I know it's going to take time, but there is a huge gap in the market because no one's doing that. Like there's a lot of incredible coaching websites out there, like Trained by JP, Hypertrophy Coach, Camp Jansen, etc.
Yeah.
And they've done all that. It's great. I don't need to do a coaching website because I'll just get shat on by everyone else because everyone else is doing an incredible job. So why don't we do something that's just everything bodybuilding? Instead of bodybuilding the Matt Jansen way or bodybuilding the Jordan Peters way, let's just do bodybuilding, all of it.
Yeah.
Everything. Whether it be the bullshit fluffy trainers, the volume trainers, the hardcore bodybuilders, because in bodybuilding, everything works, but not everything works for everyone. So we want to see everything, every aspect of bodybuilding across the whole world. We want to see it, and that's what we want to do. And so at the moment we've had content from Matt Jansen on the site. Obviously, Dave runs our chemical warfare section and does a lot of the drug stuff, which is great. We're very grateful to have Dave on board. We've got Ian Valier and Chris Bumstead doing a joint video in the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
We're waiting on Dusty Hanshaw's done a few videos for us, which we're waiting for. We've spoken to Evan Centopani, who's agreed to do some videos for us. We did an interview with Milo Sarchev the other day. We've got Sean Roden doing a small interview on the site as well, which will be going up in the next couple of days. We're just trying to reach out to as many people as possible and try and build up, like I said, Netflix, but for bodybuilding.
I love that. And listen, we started out for like 10, 15 minutes talking about, first of all, you said what you love about the sport, what you're trying to get back to, and what's kind of currently been the issue, and that's what you're fighting against. This right here is, I think, fighting against that. And like I said at the beginning, and this is what we need in the sport, is people who love it and people who are sharing real bodybuilding. Yeah,
and I think I'm sick to death of people complaining that bodybuilding's dying. Of course it isn't. It's bigger than ever. But there's so much shit on Instagram. We don't want any of that. We want to have real bodybuilding in just one place where you can come and see everything bodybuilding. There's active forums. I've got my contest prep blog on there. Guy Sistanino is going to be doing his contest prep blog on our site for the New York Pro and his comeback this year. So we've got a lot of exciting things in the pipeline. And I just think real bodybuilding isn't dead. It's growing, and I actually think it's bigger than ever. But because there's so much nonsense out there, people are finding it difficult where to find shit that's actually good. And we want to just have everything in one place. It's very early days so far. I mean, we're padding out the site with lots of content. We've got an app hopefully coming out in end of March or April. It's being built at the moment.
Nice.
So it'll be just readily available on your app. So you just literally just sign in on your phone, look at all the forums, watch the video, stream them on your TV, all that kind of stuff. And Ben and I have put a lot of our own like savings into this because we really do believe in it. But yeah, because there's just nobody's really doing that. Then actually that is true. No one is doing what we're doing. Like I said, there's plenty of incredible coaching websites out there. Like Trained by JP is just incredible. So is Camp Jansen. So is Hypertrophy. I mean, they're the only three I can think of off the top of my head. They all have their own little niche areas. But the way I see their sites is they are like Trained by JP is bodybuilding the Jordan Peters way, which is great. Yeah. But it's only 5% of actual bodybuilding. What about the rest? What about the rest of it? The shit that he would never dream of having on his site because it doesn't fit in with what he does, which I completely agree with him. He needs to stick to what he's built his foundations around. Sure. So we want to see everything else, like everything. Even if I don't agree with it, I still want to see it because it's still bodybuilding. And next, we've got a couple of we want to have some strongman and powerlifting section on the site as well. So we've got British World Strongest Man, Lawrence Sharlai. We've got a day in the life video with him next week coming out. We're trying to get Eddie Hall to do a video actually training with me, which would be cool. Which would be really cool. We've got Leroy Davis and Anth Bales are going to do a training video for us. And we just want as much content as possible. And, you know, and in terms of the members paying for the site is £6.99, which is about $10 a month. You know, the more members we get, the more content we can put out. So it's like in a roundabout way, it's all of us are kind of supporting and lifting up bodybuilding together in a way. You know, so the more members support the site, the more content we can put out for the members.
I think that's badass, man. And it just goes to show too, you know, like we were saying, 2 weeks out from the Arnold and keeping your life focused, you're able to put stuff together like this. Listen, I only asked you for 30 minutes of your time, so if you got to run, I totally understand.
No, that's cool.
Okay, we need to get to a quick break. We have some questions for you from the listeners. If you wouldn't mind sticking around and answering those, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
All right, guys, we'll be right back in just a minute.
Hey guys, why are you using sports nutrition that was designed for someone else? At TrueNutrition.com, they offer the world's largest selection of quality protein powders, and they let you design your own custom blend from a variety of powders, flavors, boosts, and packaging options, like the Team Skip blend, for instance. That's over 20 billion possible combinations to create a protein powder tailored to your diet, your goals, your tastes, and your budget. TrueNutrition.com also offers the ability to create delicious custom oatmeal blends. And they're third-party tested, proving that all their supplements are ensured to have the highest level of quality and value. Don't be a sucker and pay for fancy packaging and gimmicks. Discover the source that bodybuilders trust and stop using mass-produced nutrition that wasn't designed for you. TrueNutrition.com. And use our code ADVICES at checkout to let them know that you support the shows.
Hey guys, I wanted to take this break to say thanks to Dave for everything he's doing here at Advices Radio, and thanks to Dave for everything he's doing for bodybuilding as a whole. You guys can check out more of his stuff. Go visit his website. It's crosslands.org.uk. That's CROSLANDS.org.uk. Crossland's Harm Reduction Service specializes in providing concise, informative, and effective drug training to a wide range of professions, as well as advice to individual users. You guys can also check Dave out on his YouTube page, which is in the show notes, and also go to underconstructionthefilm.com to purchase the films today. Use the code ADVICES25 for a discount.
Bonjour.
Hello. Hey. All right. We do. I'll cut back in and then I'll tell you.
All right, Matt.
All right, guys, and we are back, Drugs and Stuff, with Dave Crosland and special guest Luke Sandoe. So I'm gonna start this off with something fun, because we have a bunch of questions. A lot of them are like, bodybuilding questions. Do you like this movement? Do you like that movement? But we do a little segment here called Dear Davy. This is a love and relationships segment of the show. So who better to give love and relationship advice than Dave Crosland, 400-pound dude. Well, formerly 400-pound dude. Dave, by the way, how big are you right now? Have you been stepping on the scale at all, or are you not doing?
No idea.
Because you're looking tight, man.
No, I'm not. Far from it. I think I weighed in about 24 stone 10. So
I don't even know what that means.
I know you don't work English. Hang on.
What is a stone anyway? Come on, guys.
14 pounds. That's what a stone is.
I know, but then I got to do the math and
280 plus 56, 336 plus 10, 346.
Okay, right on. All right, I'm gonna get to this question here. This is from Coach Mike. He says, where are we here? Actually, no, I'm going to go to this one. He says, my wife loves when I am on a blast for several reasons. Contrary to the, quote, roid rage theory, she says, I am much happier and thoughtful while on a blast, and she absolutely loves the sexual benefits of the high doses. What? Hang with us here, Luke. You just
we
learned
had one talking about dope drugging his missus so he could have his way with her a couple of weeks ago.
So what did you step into, Luke? It says one issue we do run into though is the amount of sweat that I have both when sleeping and during sex. I am already typically a hot person when it comes to high doses, and this gets much worse when the doses increase. It gets to the point where I have an air conditioner on in the middle of winter, a fan blowing directly on me, and my wife will wake up to a puddle in the bed. This often happens during intercourse that I am sweating so much it ruins the moment and makes things, quote, dangerously slippery. I don't know what that means. This happens at higher and lower body fat and happens no matter the compound I use. He says, FYI, Tren made it much worse, so I haven't used that in years. Have you guys experienced this? Luke Sandoe, we'll go to you first.
So, well, firstly, I have never experienced this, if I'm honest.
You're not a sweaty dude, because you're a big guy, man.
Yeah, well... See, the missus is going to completely disagree with me. She's going to be like, "You're a sweaty, smelly bastard." What are you doing?
Yeah.
But I know I'm not really that sweaty. No more than I was when I was younger.
No kidding.
I sweat because it's hot, not because I'm hot.
Okay.
You know? So again with the night, the only time I ever get the horrendous sweating at night is about 2 weeks post show when I'm just dropping all that. For about a week solid, I have to change my sheets about 3 times per night. So, yeah. I would suggest maybe just covering yourself in deodorant. Just get a roll on and just rub it across your entire body. There you go. That'll work.
Dave, tell me you're a sweater, man, because I don't want to be alone here. I sweat like crazy, and I'm like two-thirds the size of you guys.
Yeah, I used to run very hot on cycle, and the first advice I'd give from the happy time is you lay on the floor and let her get on top, because that way you're not sweating in her face anymore.
That's a good point.
So at least you're not going to get disturbed by that.
What about just sweating in general? Are you more of a sweater?
I used to be.
Yeah.
But as I got older, it's changed.
I've had another thing you could do.
What's that?
I don't know how kinky you guys are, but you could wear a gimp suit when you're fucking your wife.
It would keep it all in, wouldn't it?
And then it would keep it all in. All you need to do is just like...
Oh, can you imagine it afterwards?
No, because what I would do is I'd just keep the feet, cut the back of the legs a little bit, so it just kind of trickles out the back. And then just put a bucket at the end of the bed. And
a drainage system.
Just have a drainage system. Yeah, and that would be brilliant. I think we're onto something there. And then and if she's into superheroes, you get a superhero and you get a Spider-Man onesie, Spider-Man morph suit. You could reenact that scene from Spider-Man, kiss her upside down.
Yeah,
and that's where I don't want to go into the rest. But then you
could bring a swing in then, so you wouldn't damage the sheets because you'd be all mid-air.
And then you could sleep in it afterwards because Spidey's suit must be breathable. So.
I like it.
I think we're on. And also the sweat will go cold, keeping you cool in the night under your little gimp suit. So yeah, it's all there. Actually, this idea is well fleshed out. If you really look into it, that's good.
I've listened to your podcast, The Size Game, so I knew we weren't going too crazy with that question.
I think we had one once. Was like, would you rather fuck a dead baby or your nan's asshole or something? And I was like, that.
What sort of listeners do you have?
Yeah, and I was like, you're just being a prick. So he took it so far, it sucked the entire fun out of the game.
Oh yeah.
So then Banji was like, right, that's it. We're not doing the icebreakers anymore. They're disgusting.
That's just.
It is just bad, isn't it?
For the sake of being disgusting, rather than comical.
I was doing cardio walking outside when I heard that, and I still to this day remember exactly where I was because it was that scarring. I remember exactly the place I stood when I heard that question. There was a couple of them that were pretty good.
I think you need to speak to Luke about emotional compensation, Scott.
Right. Well,
yeah, what's going on with that? What do you mean?
Well, for the mental torment and anguish you suffered from listening to your podcast and you this stuff.
Don't put that on me. It's Banji's podcast. I'm just in the back. I'm one of the backing singers. This is the Banji.
You're a backing singer.
Yeah, I'm the back. Yeah, I'm the drummer. So don't bring me into this. I don't write the songs. So.
All right. I'll swing this back toward bodybuilding. This is from Kate D on Instagram. She says, what's the best way to keep your waist narrow and tight in a long, heavy off season?
Is that Dave or me?
Either of you guys are welcome to jump in, but you're our guest, so.
Well, I think I've actually done just that. I think my waist is, I'm not going to say it's the smallest it's ever been, but for the amount of muscle I've put on in other areas, it's certainly no bigger. And I can control it a lot more. As hard as it sounds, you can't overfeed yourself for really long stints in the off season, because that's what really leads to a lot of distension. And it's not distension in terms of organ growth or overstuffing. It's just people become very lax and lazy with letting their gut hang out, making it way harder to control as you get tighter. So I mean, either pick foods that are far easier to digest, break your meals down into smaller portions, don't force feed as much. That's a good idea. Another one that I used to be completely against, but I've been doing it all off season, and it's massively helped in terms of my midsection control, is actually wearing a belt the whole session.
No kidding.
It sounds silly, but I mean, I don't mean like a fucking lever belt, like you wearing a corset, you're going to shit yourself the whole time kind of belt. I mean, I use a Cardillo belt. It's nice and soft. And I don't do it up like super tight. I do it up to the point where if I let my midsection relax, then it's uncomfortable. If I hold it in, it's comfortable. So it just reminds you to keep your midsection tight. It's not supporting anything, it's just there as a reminder. And then when you do start a contest prep, just start along a lot further out, so your food volume is going to be lower for a lot longer, and then it makes things far easier. Practice vacuums. I don't believe in the whole deadlifting and squatting thing. I think that's nonsense. For the most part, unless you're lifting like 900 pounds every week. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from my perspective.
How about you, Dave?
Oh, not much to add, actually, really. I do think, like Luke said, a lot of it is poor control. And that seems to just get worse. Things like belts and waist trainers have a place. But a far amount of it is it just makes you more conscious of what you're doing with your core.
Yeah, that's all it does. I think it's just it's almost there as like a chastity belt.
I mean, there is an element of core development, and you've only got to look at the big powerlifters to see that the big lifters do have massively overdeveloped cores. So an element or a mix of support with an increased reminder of core control from a belt will definitely minimize any growth in that area. But like I said, you got to be moving big weights to get that sort of core development. But I would have said the weights you shift in the deadlift and stuff, Luke, are enough to start to cause an overdevelopment of the core.
I mean, I've deadlifted close to 900 pounds.
Yeah,
which is what I think I lifted 9 plates, which is about 840 pounds, something like that. 9 plates aside. I've done sets of 4 or 5 reps with 8 plates aside for like 4 weeks in a row. But I still barbell row 4 or 5 plates every week. I still do all that stuff. But I don't believe it did make a massive difference for me. But then again, I did do all the other stuff, which I just mentioned. So it could just be. I think if you neglected all the other stuff and did all the squats and deadlifts that heavy, then you might have more issues.
I think as well, it's a lot about how you approach the lift, because you approach a deadlift or a bent over row for back growth.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If you're approaching that lift, just move that weight.
Yeah.
Then your target muscle changes to be broad spectrum across the body, and therefore recruit a lot more of the core.
Yeah. And I also think as well,
focusing comes in, and targeting the muscle through the exercise correctly help a lot, because you take the load away from the core and stick it on the back.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the statement "squats and deadlifts thicken your waist." I kind of think that's a bit of a misdirect. I don't think the exercises impact you at all. I think it's it's the weight and the amount and how long for you do that weight and how strong you eventually get. But for the most part, people are not getting strong enough to really to be that much of a problem, unless you are a freak. And JP might even agree with that because he's having to really focus on his midsection now, and he's one of the biggest pullers probably in the world for the longest amount of time. So it may or may not have contributed to that. But, and again, he's forced the food in the off season, and he's having to work really hard to bring his waist down, and he's doing a really good job of it. And because he's doing the things we've just mentioned.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know. I just think with those lifts, it just depends how strong you get. And most people, like probably 80% of the people, are not going to get strong enough for it really to be a problem, in my opinion.
No, yeah, I would agree with that, definitely.
All right. What about decline presses? Dorian Yates said that it was one of his favorite lifts. This guy says he thinks a lot of people are against it today. Does either Luke or Dave use decline presses?
I agree with Dorian. I think it's a great movement. I actually injured myself doing a decline press.
Oh, no kidding.
It was really minor. It was like a very shallow incline press on the Smith, and I was at the end of a DC blast. This was like 5-6 years ago. Like I think it was like after. I think it might have been after my second ever show, and I was really into my DC training. And my logbook at the time said I had to do 4.5 plates a side, and I was going to shoot for I think it was 10 reps, but instead I felt really good. It was the end of my blast because I knew I was going to start cruising the following week, the training cruise where you back off.
Yeah.
And I thought instead of just going up 5 pounds, I've just put 5 plates on.
Oh,
and
wow.
And it was already heavy, and it was already a big jump. Like 3 or 4 reps in, my right pec tweaked, and that since then that kind of positioning sometimes bothers me. That's why I don't do any flat press either, really.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, but if you've got no injuries and it feels good, absolutely great. It's a great movement. In fact, the way your pec insertions are, and obviously the way they attach to the sternum, obviously the way the pec minor attaches up to your shoulder, it all completely makes sense because that's the actual direction of the fibers. Huh. So it does actually make sense to, if you do like a cable fly and you, instead of bringing your arms out in front of you, you bring them down.
Yeah.
You can see your whole pec firing like in its own sort of direction. I think that's the same with the decline press. So you're absolutely going to overload a lot more overall muscle fibers doing that lift than say a flat or incline. But yeah, just depends if it feels comfortable.
What about you, Dave?
Yeah, on the paperwork, it's a very good choice of exercise. Personally, it's one I've never got on with.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, exactly. Most people just don't like it.
I used to find it used to always inflame the trap tie into my delt.
Really? Okay.
Didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter how. But bear in mind, I've only ever done incline post my left back detachment.
Well, I got a good one here. This is this ties into what we were talking about earlier too. How does a normal day look for Luke, being a parent and a high-level IFBB pro? He says, is it a bi-weekly thing? Also, how do you work on your mental behavior, doing bodybuilding day to day, and not nag and complain? I know that English is his second language, so he did a good job getting that message across.
Is there a couple of questions there? Was there one about the kids and then one?
Well, he's asking. He said, "How do you? What's your day to day look like being both a parent and a high level pro?"
Okay, so my children don't live with me.
Okay,
which is brilliant because I do it and they just annoy me.
Do you want mine? Mine can come and live with you.
fuck no. Yeah, so no, they don't live with me. I mean, they come and stay every now and then, and I visit them every week. But no, I'm actually. I've done it the best way around to ever have children. If you're a professional bodybuilder, I've done it in the best way because I had them both before. I had them both when I was a kid.
Okay.
My daughter was born when I was 15. Next month, my daughter will be the same age I was when I fucking had her.
You're kidding me.
Which is mental when you think about it.
So that means you're going to be a grandpa soon.
No, don't say that.
Or hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't met a boyfriend yet because conveniently he's never in. when I'm there.
I wouldn't be either. Smart
Can
freaking
you
kid.
imagine being 15-year-old and being dragged back to meet your girlfriend's dad and Luke stood there?
I'd be terrified. I'd run.
But he knows who I am. He knows who I am. No, I mean, because obviously he's seen my Instagram and stuff, which probably is another reason. That's probably why. But anyway, yeah. So that's quite fortunate. So my son is he was born when I was 23. So he's 7. So as my career is taking off, they're getting older and less not dependent, if that makes sense. They kind of, they go to school, they've got their own activities that they do, like after school clubs and things. So we have a lot of free time away from them anyway. So because they're older, I can focus on myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because they have their own interests. They're not, as I said, they're not quite as dependent. Especially my daughter. I mean, I'm just basically the bank. Yeah. And then, so my day today. So currently, in fact, this will be the video. I filmed the day in the live video for Redcon 1. That'll be on Nick Strength and Power today, live. Nice. It'll go on there today. So by the time this podcast is out, it'll be on Nick Strength and Power. So you can watch that. So I wake up in the morning. I weigh myself. I take all my morning supplements. I go to the gym. I do my pictures for Chris. I pose for about 20 minutes. And then I do abs and calves. Kind of mostly just abs. And then I do the stairs for 30 minutes. Or I don't do the stairs for 30 minutes because he's told me not to, which happens quite a lot.
Really?
At the moment, I'm currently, I've done cardio maybe 4 times in 2 weeks, which is actually the last 4 days.
No kidding.
And I have none tomorrow and a high carb day tomorrow. And then I will sometimes go to the sunbed and because I'm disgustingly pale. I mean, I'm so white.
You're British. I would expect nothing less.
But I think the reason I'm not tanning is because the fucking sunbeds are reflecting off me. And then I'll come home and then I eat my breakfast. I spend about 3 hours on my laptop doing client emails, doing brutal muscle stuff. Because I edit some of the videos myself as well, so I do that. Then I take the dog for a walk, have my pre-workout meal, go to the gym, I train, and then I normally have a meeting with John and Ben, who are my business partners with Brutal Muscle, go over a few things, then I'll come home, I'll eat a couple of hours of emails, and then I'll probably watch a film with my girlfriend, and then I will go to bed after my last meal. So a lot of it is working at a computer as well, So at the moment it's quite boring, quite mundane, but every day seems to be going. It sounds like I do nothing, but it feels like I'm always busy. That makes sense.
I know exactly what you mean. I think you're in that same situation, Dave.
Oh, yeah, busy.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what my day is like? It's not particularly interesting.
No, I don't care about your day.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't care about my day. I have to do it.
Hey, do you have any questions that you want to ask Luke while we've got him here?
Hang on. Sorry, speaker's cut out there.
Okay. I was wondering, do you have any other questions that you want to ask Luke while we've got him here?
Talking to me then. Sorry, speaker's cut out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right. Don't worry, Luke. We're going to edit all this. Hey, Dave.
He's a professional, Luke. He is, Scott. He is a professional.
Yeah, Banji isn't, mate. Banji, just doesn't edit anything. He just puts it out raw. Just dry and raw. Flops it out.
I want to not edit this now, just so that we can have that on the air. That'd be perfect.
I just think raw's better. I think most people will agree.
I think you're right.
Yeah, everyone loves raw. That's going to be the next size game T-shirt. Everyone loves it raw.
You really don't want it to go.
Everyone loves it raw. The size game, that couldn't be better, could it? Really?
That's actually really good. I feel like I might get in trouble wearing your current shirt out. So I
got in trouble at the Arnold Australia.
Did you really?
At the fan meet and greet. I had the sit on a cock and eat cake T-shirt.
Yeah.
And one of the officials was like, he said, that's quite an offensive T-shirt. I don't really want you wearing a swearing. And I was like, no, it's just a play on words.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah.
That's a rooster.
I was like, this is a chicken, like a cockerel. And he was like, no, mate, you got to take your shirt off, mate. And so I had to change my fucking shirt.
Oh my gosh!
I couldn't believe it. And then one of the other bikini competitors backstage kind of like looked at it and read it and just kind of like, ugh. and stormed off. So yeah, it wasn't popular, but it is the best t-shirt ever, I think.
All right. Well, listen, let's get out of here. Let's let Luke get back to his day. Dave, do you have any other questions that you wanted to ask him while we had him on here?
No, I'm pretty much done.
All right, man. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. This is a lot of fun.
No, it was great. It was a nice kind of pick me up for the day because my days are quite monotonous. So it was very nice to chat with you guys. So thank you.
Oh, well, right on, man.
Coming on, Luke. Appreciate it.
Dude, I'm looking forward to seeing you down at the Arnold. I'll be in the audience cheering for you, man.
Yes, we'll get a picture again.
Yes, I can't wait, man.
That'd be cool. Well, lovely speaking to you guys, and I'm looking forward to listening to this one. Not the bits of me, the rest of it.
All right, let's get out of here for another episode of Drugs and Stuff with Dave Crosland and special guest Luke Sandoe. I'm Scott McNally. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Advices Radio Network.